So then guys, it's been over 2 years since we've had the release of a new iPhone SE, but one question that floats around for the next model is why the design might be larger. Now, the next iPhone SE will be the fourth generation, or some of us are calling it the iPhone SE 4. But a lot of you are concerned by looking at a lot of these renders that you're seeing here, and also upset hearing rumors that the iPhone SE 4 is going to be bigger or larger in size. So then, today, let's get down to the bottom of this. Is the iPhone SE 4 going to be larger? And if it is, why are the reasons behind this? So then, if you know anything about the iPhone SE current model and the generation before that, they are using an iPhone 8 design. It's the same manufacturing process they basically use for the iPhone 6 all the way up to the iPhone 8, and this is being used now with the iPhone SE 2. Essentially, the last two generations of iPhones are an iPhone 8, but have a brand new chip inside of it, and also the most current generation of the SE also has a 5G modem in it as well. But apart from that, it's a like-for-like copy of the original iPhone 8. It was also the same for the original first iPhone SE when that came out. This was actually based on the design of the iPhone 5 or the iPhone 5S, and essentially the only thing that was different inside of it was just the processor, was the A chip inside of it. Everything else was exactly the same. Apple had the manufacturing process for this, had the factories building this, and all they just had to do was just swap out the chip and put a different chip inside of this iPhone design, and henceforth we got the first iPhone SE model. So with the size of an iPhone SE, I think this is one of the key important things to remember here. An SE uses a well-defined process Apple already have, and cheap parts, and size is probably not even considered as a key part here from Apple. With doing this, Apple can make a cheap iPhone for the masses. And this is why the first iPhone SE was based on the design of an iPhone 5 and an iPhone 5S. And then, like I said, the iPhone SE, second generation and third generation, this was based off the iPhone 8 design. Both of these had been made before, and the manufacturing process was already implanted, and getting parts of these were quite cheap from Apple to do this. Now, going forwards for the next generation iPhone SE, so the iPhone SE 4, fourth gen, as you can see here, it does look like that Apple are looking to use the iPhone 13 or 14 design here. It's a well manufactured process that I've spoke about. It's something that they're used to. Their factories have got all the design schematics and things like this. They've got all the major parts, and it looks like one of the only major changes is that on the rear there's only going to be a single camera lens instead of a dual lens. The notch is going to remain. There's going to be no dynamic island there, and really that is going to be it. The only other main change, like I said, is just going to be the A chipset inside of it, and that's just a quick easy swap to do for Apple there. Again, I think I have to stress it out here. Apple see the iPhone SE as a model of a phone for the masses. What is the cheapest phone we can make here? Size does not fit into the equation here. What do we know well, and what can we build cheap for the masses to get loads of people introduced to the iPhone sort of series, all the models, and also for people who can't afford the best iPhone, what is the cheapest one we can create for them? Another good example of this is the Apple Watch SE, and as you can see right here, the Apple Watch SE, the first and the second gen, was actually based off the Apple Watch 4 design. And in fact, when the Apple Watch 5 came out with the Apple Watch SE, the first gen, the actual screens were exactly the same size there. It didn't mean that an SE meant a smaller watch. They were the same sizes of the two different sizes you could get for an Apple Watch there, exactly the same. All that Apple knew was that they could build a cheaper SE model with taking away a few bits and pieces and that manufacturing process to make it cheaper for the masses. And that's exactly what they've done for the first and second generation Apple Watch SE. And it looks like this is going to be the same this time round for the next generation iPhone SE. And just in case you are worried about the size here, I've got both the current generation iPhone SE and I've also got an iPhone 14 here. And me just putting them together here, you can see there isn't much that different in size comparison. And in fact, having a look here, let's have a look at the actual dimensions here. For overall height of the current SE model, it is 5.45 inches tall, and the iPhone 14 is 5.78 inches tall. That is about 0.3 inches bigger, really nothing in it. But let's have a look at the width next of all. For the current SE, it's 2.65 inches, and for the iPhone 14 design, it is 2.82 inches. Again, putting them together here, we're talking about less than 0.2 inches in increase in sort of the width size here on the iPhone 14. And then for thickness of the current iPhone SE, it's 0.29 inches, and the iPhone 14 design is 0.3 inches. And to be honest, that is barely noticeable. You're not going to be able to tell the difference there between both of these models on the actual thickness. But the new design iPhone SE will have a larger 6.1-inch display than the current 4.7-inch display. But overall, if the new iPhone SE is going to be based on this design right here, it's easily going to fit into your pocket, it's easy to hold in your hand, and I think probably the most scariest thing that people are being thrown off here is that with the current iPhone SE, the screen is smaller, but it does take up a lot of space on the top and the bottom, whereas the newer iPhones take up the full kind of space of the actual sort of front of the phone as the whole screen. But essentially, for the overall size and everything like that, they're basically the same in size.
So then guys, just quickly, have you ever wanted a foldable phone but not having to pay the premium price for it? Well, this phone here might be the right one for you. This phone here is the BlackView Hero 10, and it comes with everything that you need on a smartphone with some great specs too. Starting out with the chipset, it is an octo-core MediaTek on the inside, and there's also 12 gigabytes of RAM too. You also get 256 gigabytes of storage on the inside. When you open up this foldable beauty, you're presented with a 6.9-inch display, what is also an AMOLED. And this BlackView also has a fantastic water drop hinge, and you can barely see the crease line when the phone is open. As I said already, it's an AMOLED display, but in fact it's a 2.5K display with the amount of pixels there are on the screen, and it can go up to 1300 nits, and the total pixels per inch is 443. Not only this display on this phone is about a 95% body to screen ratio, and also it's been tested to be opened and folded over 250,000 times for durability. You can flex the screen at different angles from 30 to 150 degrees. When the phone is folded, there is also a Samsung 108 megapixel sensor for the main wide shooter camera, what provides fantastic photos and 4K video too, and there's also an 8 megapixel ultra wide lens. On the inside, there's also a 32 megapixel selfie camera here, what's really handy to have. And as you may have noticed, there's also a window on the front here to give you the latest notifications. So for example, you can accept or reject a call, check out the weather, or even take a photo using the rear camera. For battery life, it's incredible for a foldable. It's actually got a 4,400 milliamp battery inside of this. And it also has super fast charging by USB-C at 45 watts, so you can go from 0 to 50% in only 20 minutes. For Android support, there's Android 14 on this, but BlackView have also promised 3 years of updates too. I have the black model here, but there are also other colours, like there's a new purple range. But do you want to know what the best thing is though about this foldable phone? Most foldable phones cost around about like $800 to say even $1,000 or sometimes even more. Well, you can pick up this BlackView 10 for less than $500. That's how incredible this phone is. And if you want to find out more information about it, do check out all the details that are below in the video description of this video. And with that, let's go back to the main video.
But the last question you're probably going to ask is, well, why not use, say, the iPhone 12 mini or the iPhone 13 mini design instead then? Well, look here, I'm not trying to back up Apple in its decision here to actually picking an iPhone 14 as the sort of main design here for the next generation SE, or to base it on that. Personally, yeah, in my own honest opinion, I do wish they were bringing the mini back. That would be a great SE model if they could do that cheaper and everything else like that. But there are reasons why Apple will not bring back the mini type of phone. From Apple's eyes, the mini was a flop. Just look at the sales of mini phones we saw when they came out from Apple. Now, there were a few of you in the comments now will be saying, well, I bought a mini and I absolutely love it. But overall, as you can see here, by the masses, Apple did not sell many minis at all, and this is why it was dropped altogether. And Apple, in their eyes, I don't think are going to resurrect something that's been a bit of a flop for them, a phone that really didn't sell well at all. At the end of the day, they sold more iPhone SEs than they sold iPhone minis. So yeah, they're not going to bring back that design anytime soon, personally, in my opinion. But overall, I think the picture has shown us a few things here. One is the iPhone SE models and also the Apple Watch SE, and any SE model that comes out from Apple will always be based on a previous design that they've done, and it's also cheap to manufacture. They're not going to think something outside the box. They're not going to reinvent the wheel, especially for an SE model. They're going to use something what they have right now, what they know that sells and works. So that is the first point of view. Next of all, like I did point out, if they are going to be using an iPhone 14 design, it is only at its largest 0.3 inches larger than the current iPhone SE. It's really not that much bigger at all. We are talking less than, say, the iPhone 15 to the iPhone 15 Plus, what has a difference of around about, say, 5.5 inches there, or 6 inches. We're talking about half of that. We're talking 0.3 inches in size difference. And then I think the last thing to point out is, sadly, it doesn't look like that Apple anytime soon is probably going to resurrect that iPhone 12 or iPhone 13 mini design anytime soon to be the next SE model. But overall, like I said, be disappointed or not, the next generation SE is not going to be that much bigger. It is going to still be quite a cheap iPhone, and also at the same time as well give you that full experience. I hope this video though has taught you guys though that the iPhone SE is not designed all around about size and things like this. Apple do not make an SE overall about size, but they base it on using old parts and selling them for cheap. But let me know what your thoughts are on this too. Put them down in the comments below. And also on that note, guys, it's time to wrap up this video. So if you have enjoyed watching it, please do press the like button. Also, if you want to hear the latest Apple news, reviews, and comparisons, please also make sure you subscribe to the channel and also hit that notification bell too. Until next time, guys, I'll see you really soon. Take care. Bye-bye.